Alright, so if you can't tell already, I've now filmed this twice. Once, I forgot to turn the mic on, so that's unfortunate. Second time, my recording software decided to stop recording, and it's been an issue I've been having, and I think it's actually because of the webcam I'm using. Officially, Apple kind of stopped supporting it. It doesn't work in iMovie or anything else, but it does work with QuickTime, and that's what I'm using right now. And every once in a while, it just likes to stop recording for no reason. No error, just says stopped recording. So that happened to me last time. I have now also had to open my window, so we're going to get a little bit of background noise. I apologize, but I've been setting off my smoke alarm every time I open my door because I'm vaping in a small room. So, with all that aside, let's get to what we're talking about today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Veritas, a little bit about the IPV, very little bit, and a little bit about Duffy by the collection and this juice. So let's start off with the Veritas and the build I put on there. I rebuilt this. I hadn't used it in a little while and I wanted to taste this juice, so I wanted a new fresh build and wick in there. And before I had a nickel build for the temperature control feature of the DNA 40, only it didn't work well in this. Or the build, it was the first build I did, it wasn't overly satisfying. So we've torn that out, put a new one in. We're not going to be close up very long, so we are going to do it this way. So that's the build. And we're focusing on like everything but. There we go. Just a simple single coil, 7 wrap. What I thought was 26 gauge, but I think now might be 28 because it came out to 1 ohm. That's a little bit higher than it should come out to with a 26 gauge, at least according to the math in my head. So that's the build. Super clean, super simple. Something I do that's a little bit different with this atomizer than other atomizers is I use a fair bit of wick, and I'm not usually a big fan of a huge mounds of wick, but you'll notice that I don't put any underneath it whatsoever. I run them straight back towards that air hole into those channels. So, okay, we're spending more time here than I wanted because I can't get to focus. Regardless, I run them into those channels. And I do that because when I vape it with that air hole towards me, and then the juice can run down those channels straight into the wicks. And the benefit of that is that I rarely ever get dry hits. Any juice that might be lingering in the bottom of the deck actually runs into the wick when I tilt it back, and then I end up noticing a muted flavor telling me that I need to re-drip long before I get a dry hit. So that's fantastic. Speaking of which, let's add a little bit more juice. And I do usually just drip this through the drip tip. Even with that flat top on there, it ends up where you want it to be. There's not much, nowhere else that it can really go. So we line up the air hole, drop it down, and we're good. This is not the stock drip tip. Actually, I don't know if the Veritas comes with a drip tip. This is the drip tip from my Stingray X, and I love using it. One, I think it looks really boss on there. There's a slight gap, but it's not too bad, and it just kind of matches the form. And two, I've lost my Stingray X. I'm pretty sure I knocked it out of the truck one day getting in and out in a parking lot. So if anyone in Saskatoon has found a Stingray X in a parking lot, reach out to me and let me know, because I love that mech mod and I'm sad to be missing it. I will, however, today fondly remember the Stingray X as I use this drip tip. So let's do a quick vape of Duffy. They describe it as a dessert-like cappuccino. Right off the bat, even just smelling it, it smells like vanilla, and that's why I wanted to vape it. So 60-40, 60 VG, 40 PG, so it's super tankable. Let's give it a go. It's good. It's really good. So obviously you're not getting first impressions anymore. It's the 3rd time I've filmed it, so you're getting really new impressions. The first time I filmed was actually the first time I had tried it, so but it has no sound sadly. The flavor I get off of this is absolutely vanilla, but it's creamy, but not like a custard. It's creamy like whipped cream that's super vanilla-y. It's got that sort of creamy mouthfeel, and it's absolutely vanilla. So it's not super milky, but it's vanilla. A little bit sweet, but not too sweet. There's a richness to it to me, it's not coffee at all. I don't actually get any coffee flavor. To me, it's more like a cookie. It's totally a dad's cookie. You know those dad's chocolate chip cookies that when you bite them, you just kind of let them melt in your mouth? Not even the, it's not chocolate chip, it's the oatmeal ones. You just kind of like suck on them till they get soggy. That's how I eat them anyway. It tastes like that with like really vanilla-y whipped cream on top. It's really good. It's also not overpowering, so it's totally doable as an all-day vape. You don't get that like eventually you're going to burn out on it. It makes me, as much as I don't taste coffee, it makes me want some. So in between video takes, I totally made myself a cup of coffee because really this is how the day should start. I say that's how the day should start. However, it's noon, but it's close to when my day is starting. So it's super good with coffee. Yeah, this is gonna be my go-to morning vape for sure. It's super tasty. So I'm vaping it at 32.5 watts. With the 1 ohm coil comes out to 5.8 volts. So that's going to lead us to the IPV. So we talked a little bit about the juice. It's Duffy by The Collection. Talked a little bit about the atomizer. PS, by the way, this is a clone. I didn't mention that. I would love to get the authentic, however, it's not really in my budget. However, how much I love this atomizer, if the authentic one's even a little bit better, it's totally worth the money. So I do plan on eventually picking one up and comparing them. So anyways, we're on to the IPV3. So this is the IPV3 version 3. When we do the full review of this IPV3, we'll talk about that a little bit. Still working on that one, by the way. But what I love about this, or really any variable voltage, the DNA 40 would do what I like about this perfectly well as well, is that this I'm pumping out at 5.8 volts. So if I threw this on my mech mod, I'd get a much weaker vape. What I love about this is I started at 20 watts, 25 watts actually when I first built it, and then slowly increased up. And 32.5 was the sweet spot for me. A noticeable increase in vapor, a better quality flavor, richer flavor, and a nicer, warmer vape, which is right where I like it. And that for me is really the beauty of variable voltage or variable wattage particularly, is that ability to really customize where you want it based on flavor and not having to build to a target voltage. In this case, I didn't want to be at 1 ohm, but I came out at 1 ohm and I'm able to adjust and still get a really satisfying vape without having to completely redo a build. And it is satisfying. It's so good. And what I love about this right now is I'm not trying for clouds. This isn't a cloud chasing atomizer by any means. It's designed for flavor and it's showcasing that Duffy fantastically. But without trying for vapor, I'm getting enough vapor to set off my smoke alarm and to require me to open my window. So that's awesome. So yeah, so that's my take on the Veritas Duffy. Variable voltage, I guess, more, or variable wattage, more than just the IPV3, and a little bit on coffee. So with that, nice quick little video. I'll say goodbye, guys, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again. P.S. If you happen to follow me on Twitter or Instagram or anything, I totally posted a picture of the IPV3 with the 454 big block on it saying next up. It was intended to be next up. The 454 big block is recorded, edited, and ready to go. However, I don't like how it came out, so I'm going to have to re-record it and re-film the close-up and almost everything else. So I rambled too much. It's like 17 minutes, and I don't want it to be that long. It doesn't need to be. So we're going to redo it. So that's been delayed, and I am still working on that IPV3 one. There's a lot that I want to say, so getting my thoughts in a logical order has been difficult. So we'll work that out, and hopefully within the next week I'll have both of those up. So yeah, be patient. They're coming. Thanks, guys. See you later.